I was let go from my job over 15 years ago. This is an experience you probably would have wished to go through. And what added insult to injury is that there were no one to guide me on to how to deal with such experience. Don't get me wrong there were a lot who were trying to console me. Let me explain. Initially, when I was asked to leave my job, I thought I was in a bad dream. I hoped I would wake up from it soon. My thoughts were clouded. I was confused. It is difficult to describe the feeling, but what I remember is that I had difficulty focusing. I remember driving back home for hours. My phone was ringing, but I didn't pick up. I didn't even look to see who was calling. When I reached home, I couldn't eat. That night, I went straight to bed. I slept in no time. But I woke up in the middle of the night with a strange feeling of butterflies in my stomach. I couldn't sleep afterwards. I guess I was angry and anxious at the same time. You see, I was thinking a lot. What do I tell my family, my wife? I felt ashamed, I guess. I didn't want to talk to anyone. For a moment, I felt hopeless and disconnected from reality. The only thing I could think of is my dignity, strangely enough. I remember when I was laid off, I went back to my desk, didn't even collect my stuff, and pretended to carry on working as if nothing happened. My colleagues kept on talking to me, but I couldn't make sense of what they were talking about. I remember I left my personal mouse, keyboard, monitor, and other stuff. That pride feeling wasn't helping at all. It added to my blues, and having no one to speak to, or to put it more accurately, rejecting to speak to anyone, amplified my state of depression at the time. At a point I felt guilty. I questioned my abilities. Was it because I was incompetent? Did I do something wrong? Why me? Why not him or her? The feeling of going back and talking my employers out of laying me off was strong. I started formulating bargaining arguments in my mind, and it all made sense. My previous performance, my achievements, I didn't do it though. As time passed by, I started to come to terms with the new reality. And the saying, "what doesn't break you makes you stronger," kept repeating in my mind like a soothing melody. That and the realization that no one has any control over their future kind of lifted me up. What happened to me was unfortunate, but it is how I reacted, the way I'm going to deal with it is what counts, is what I have control over. I refuse to let outside factors or events define me. I always wanted to be better. When I took control over my feelings and came to terms with the new reality, the sense of hope started to calm me down. It got me gradually accepting the new reality. It felt like the bright, rising sun on a cold morning. When I started to regain focus, it was clear to me that I am more than my job. For a moment there, I thought my job, my title, what I do is what defines me. This feeling made everything seem personal. When I let what I do define me instead of who I am, I will always be at risk of emotional collapse. I started believing that a job is just a means to a higher purpose. My career is not my life. I have to give credit though to what made me shift from being angry and lost to moving on and focused. It was not me, it was my family, my friends, and most of all, my wife. What baffled me is how much people cared. They were proactive. They were reaching out, calling and texting and checking on me. Whether I realized it at the time or not is not important. The protagonist of my story was not me. It was everyone who supported me. We live in tough times these days. Many of us lost their jobs, and it is up to us to extend our support. Be proactive and get in touch. If you know someone who lost their job, give them a call or text them, check on them. Maybe get a coffee with them. Some of them will appreciate, others might be hurting. It doesn't matter. Understand and never take it personal. Listen more. Probably don't give unsolicited advice at this time, but most importantly, boost their confidence. See if you can connect them with your network. Put a LinkedIn recommendation. Maybe introduce them to your community, unless that is, of course, you believe they were underperformance or you are not familiar with their performance, or you have a personal policy of not giving recommendations for whatever reason, then never mind. What matters is to stay in touch. I mean, the bottom line is, let's try and be the protagonists of our friends' stories. This is what adds true meanings to our lives. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.